What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another daily drop brought to you by TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm Jacob Turner. He's Andrew Jones and AJ. We're here to talk about Seth Trimble. We did a drop on Thursday, kind of giving Armando Bacot his flowers. We're doing the same thing right here with Seth Trimble because, yeah, I know, right? That's the term I'm rolling with. I think that's pretty accurate.
Armando doesn't want flowers. Armando wants Jimmy's seafood.
Yeah, that's true. He wants Jimmy's seafood and a national championship banner in the Smith Center. That's what Armando
wants. He wants the banner. He wants
definitely.
The banner. Big time.
We talk about that a lot more in the Bacot drop. So if you haven't heard that one, go listen to that one after this one's done, of course. But AJ, I've tweeted out a few times this year, talked to fans about it a few times. I've told you a few times. Seth Trimble to me is Carolina's most improved player this season. You can make cases for maybe a Jalen Washington, throwing him in there a little bit. For me, it's not even close. It's Seth Trimble, most improved player for the Tar Heels. Minutes are continuing to go up. You just look at the last 3 games that Trimble's played, 20 plus minutes in all 3 of those, and he's continuing to produce as well. I know you said off camera he's kind of like a 6 starter for the Tar Heels. I know there's obviously not 6 guys that start, but he's like the 6th man for the Tar Heels. He's a guy that Hubert Davis is relying on, and he's coming in and producing, and he makes this team better on both ends of the floor as well. So as a guy who's been at all the games this year, talk to me about your impressions of Seth Trimble, because again, for me, most improved player for the Tar Heels so far, at least this season.
Yeah, if it didn't have such a negative connotation, a good nickname for him would be the syringe.
Yeah, no, I do like that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Because he gives them an immediate juice injection every time he steps on the floor. I mean, it is all about energy and vitality, but it's energy and vitality with a guy playing with it himself. Even his drives to the basket that were maybe at times a bit reckless in November aren't as much so now. Now, I will say, I asked him after Charleston Southern, I said, so how often do you know what you're going to do when you leave the floor? And he started laughing, and he said, about 60% of the time. So his mission is to get that up to about 85. You have to improvise a little bit once you leave your feet every once in a while. But I like that, and I liked his answer because he knew right away he went right to it. He's very in tune with his game, and that's what that tells us where his game is. And this is a guy that, let's be honest, this time a year ago, he was really, falling into a funk, if you will, where he played hot potato. He didn't play with any confidence. Think back to games last year when Hubert would surprisingly have him off the ball on offense, so nobody guarded him. Every once in a while, he'd take a 3, and he missed him. And it was curious that Hubert didn't put him on the ball. Now I see a guy on the wing who's not on the ball initially, but man, he can drive from the wing. Man, he can hit the 3-pointer. He has so much. It's impossible to articulate to people exactly how hard Seth Trimble worked in the offseason to get to where he is right now. And you see it not just in the 3-point shot, but look at his free throws. They're much improved. And that drive to the basket, it's like time gets suspended for him. And he's able to kiss the ball off the glass. He's a guy that could kiss the ball off the glass in contact, in traffic, in the paint. And he does it in a way that looks like that was always the intent. So he's far more under control. His ability to have hang time and just stay within himself and stay composed physically and mentally when he goes into those situations is absolutely cool as hell to watch. And it's fun and it's impressive. I love the way he's playing. His defense is really good. Hubert said Tuesday night he could be an elite defender, an elite defender, and he keeps telling Seth that. But Seth is an offensive force. He's been double figures 2 straight games. He had 9 points and 5 rebounds in the first half at Pitt. He didn't get that juice injection. Who knows how that game plays out? And he did it hitting a 3. He did it driving into the lane. And I believe he hit a short, like a mid-range jumper too, and some free throws. He's got a whole lot of stuff in his bag. And he's more and more confident as each game passes. So he's unleashing more, and he's doing it not feeling inhibited at all. I thought last year he grew increasingly inhibited. when as the season went on. He just wasn't showing his game anymore. I think a lot of the bench guys did last year. But the other night when they put him in, like they needed juice, and he gave them immediate juice. He's really having a great year. His great stat line, the best stat line I saw all year long was Tennessee. He played 14 minutes. I think that was sort of the coming out party, if you will.
Yeah.
Because they had, no, it wasn't Tennessee. It was Florida State. They had to go full court press.
Mm-hmm.
He is the perfect full court press guy. Like if you were to ask John Wooden and Henry Iba and Bobby Knight, Dean Smith, and Mike Krzyzewski, sculpt me the perfect full court press guy. They in their version of Weird Science, they would all pop out Seth Trimble every time.
Mm-hmm.
He's that guy. And he was huge in the run that they made against FSU. I think he played 14 minutes. He was plus 24 that game. Man, that's really good. So he's a plus guy every time he steps on the floor. He makes them better in every way.
Yeah. No, it's been in some ways we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, AJ, how many times did we see him putting up shots after games last year? He's put the work in on his offensive game, because I think he's improved defensively. We all knew he was a really good defensive player coming into Carolina. He showed glimpses of that last year, but no doubt has he improved on that side of the ball. But his offensive game is what's honestly surprised me. I'll go ahead and say this. I'll preface it by saying I think my mind's a little clouded because his brother's JP Tokoto, and oh my God, could he jump out the gym? But he wasn't necessarily a beautiful jump shot kind of guy. So I think when he came in, I was like, yeah, well, if he's going to be like that, then he's never going to be a good scorer for Carolina. He's proven me wrong this year, but he's worked on his game. We saw it so many times after games last year. He'd be out there for 30 minutes an hour, putting up shots while we're up in the rafters working, or heck, sometimes we're recording the three things on the court at the Smith Center. So should not come as a surprise, but man, he's produced when he's been given an opportunity, which has built trust between him and Hubert Davis. You know how big trust is with Hubert when it comes to playing his bench. We've talked about it so many times. Trimble's proven that he can do that. And again, he's being rewarded for it with the amount of minutes he's playing. So again, I just want to say that we shouldn't be surprised on that offensive improvement, because we saw him put the work in. And of course there was even more work that we'd never see that was going on behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, you see JP in him, especially when he comes in from the right side and he's going to tomahawk that thing, right?
Yeah.
JP was unbelievable in his dunks. But Seth, I think, is becoming a more skilled player and might eventually be a more useful player. JP was a nice player, but JP sometimes didn't. There were times maybe where he took shots that Roy that just really frustrate Roy. Wasn't a great ball handler at times. And I think that I don't want to go all into JP or anything like that, but a different player than Seth. He was a lot longer than Seth is. Seth's 6'4", maybe.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Is he 6'4", I guess? He gets listed at
6'3" is listed as, so around that 6'3",
6'3", yeah, 6'3", 6'4". But he's a lot stronger defensively. He has found himself often guarding some bigger guys. In fact, when he's on the floor with Cormac and RJ, he's the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that's because if he gets caught in a switch and ends up having to guard a big, he can front a big. Who's going to lob an entry over Seth Trimble to a big?
That's a good point.
So you don't really want to be in that situation very often, but there are little bells and whistles to his game that not everybody has, and it affects small little aspects of each game. But the thing that I like so much about him is that he kind of does everything well now. His handle's better, his shot's better. Everything about his game offensively is better. His game's better defensively. Last year, his struggles showed offensively against Reese Beekman in Virginia, where Beekman routinely drove in the lane on him in that game in Charlottesville. So all the things that Seth piled up on the lessons learned last year showing itself now. And what he's doing, he's giving them a reliable guy off the bench. He's multiple enough that he can allow them to play small but still have an effect. And he can slide back into the 2 or even the 1, depending on circumstances. And he's also getting a lot of Elliot Cadeau's. It's late in closer games. Now, I know that Elliott had foul trouble against Kentucky. He had foul trouble against Pittsburgh. But in Kentucky, for example, Elliott went out 9:05 mark and went back in with 11 seconds left. Seth was on the floor that whole time in between. So it wasn't like Hubert was saving him for the 11-second mark. Seth was just producing, and the team was playing really well with him on the court. So as Elliott continues to feel his way through the college game, and he's absolutely in the process of feeling his way through the college game, what a luxury it is to have a guy like Trimble you could put out there to do the various different things that he can do. He's a really good six man. He's going to get better. Even John Rothstein was talking about him on Twitter Tuesday night. That's some big time props right there. You got to like where his game is right now, and you got to figure it's only going to get better, right?
Yeah.
He's got some moxie shooting the three. He hits the three. It's becoming more of a catch and shoot three. The same thing you were just talking about a minute ago. We were watching him do just that last year. He did that more than anything else. Catch and shoot three. He's getting his feet right before he gets the ball. A lot of guys get their feet right after they get the ball. He gets it before he gets the ball. That's true catch and shoot. So much of that is part of being a better shooter. And he worked his butt off on that stuff. So you got to be excited watching the dude play. Plus, he's just a lot of fun. He's a good dude to talk to. He's a lot of fun. He is having a blast right now. And I guarantee you, Hubert goes to sleep every night thinking his lucky stars that Seth Trimble has gone from what he was as a freshman to what he is now as a sophomore. One of the more improved players in the ACC.
Yeah. Buy your stock in Seth Trimble right now, because that thing is slowly and steadily going up, man. I hate when people say that saying too, and I just said it. Can't believe I just said that. I hate when people say buy stock in something.
The thing about it is those trite phrases sometimes apply.
They do, man. I hate when people say it, but it works.
When they do, don't apologize. Just run with it.
Exactly, man. I feel like Dabo Swinney on the field after Clemson beat. I don't even know who they beat in that game. Was it Notre Dame or something like that? Clemson's a stock. You got to buy it right now or something like that. Yeah. And I guess he was kind of proven right. I mean, they did end the season relatively well. So I hate when people say that.
So we're saying trite phrases, and now we're quoting Dabo Swinney on a basketball pod drop.
Wouldn't be a drop if we didn't derail it. And I was pleased we didn't derail the Baycott podcast. That was one of the first we haven't derailed.
It's tipping. Yeah. We're about to go off the tracks.
Yeah, it is, man. That's just a prime.
I could come up with a couple different ways to get us off the tracks real fast, but we probably don't want to do that.
I don't need to do that, man. You got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. Let's go ahead and get off of this podcast before.
By the way, I will say this: since we're not doing a basketball show in between Pitt and Clemson, enormous game Saturday.
Yeah, big time.
Enormous game. Clemson's good. Shefflin is one of them, might be the most improved player in the ACC. PJ Hall, love the additions that they made. Chase Hunter is a better player in the backcourt now. Man, they're a good team. That's going to be a very tough game for the Tar Heels.
100%, man. I'm glad you said that. I'm looking forward to that one. Noon tip off too.
Little John's going to be on fire. Little John's going to be on fire. I can't wait. When that place is buzzing, when they're good, that's a great home court advantage Clemson has.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can sustain it. I think this is a good Clemson team, but we've seen them start, not maybe this well. We've seen them start seasons and kind of go off the tracks a little bit when ACC play starts. I hope they can sustain it, because they look like they're the real deal right now. I'm not 100% convinced yet, but based on what we've seen through 12 or 13 games, they're the real deal. They're good.
Yeah, my apologies. I interrupted because you went out for a second. I think they will sustain it because they can do it from all parts of the court. They have a lot of variations. They have enough bench. They could be multiple in a lot of ways. And this is Brad's best team he's had there for sure. Yeah. And I'd like to see Brad get back to the tournament. I like Brad. He's a good guy.
Yeah, UNCW, right? You covered him when he was at UNCW. Was that?
Yeah, I've known Brad for a long time. Known him for a long time. I covered him. Got to know him when he was at UNCW, and I was down in Wilmington. He and Jerry went. Jerry went. It was awesome. He worked for Jerry. Jerry left for Richmond and then went to DePaul.
I know you guys went back, and I've seen him talk to you. I've seen you talk to him a couple of times, maybe at like ACC tournaments or something, try to catch him in the tunnel or something like that, just to say what's up to him, because I know you did cover him back in the day at your Wilmington days. So we did kind of derail this podcast because we're talking about Clemson basketball right now. But again, it's relevant because Carolina's got a big time matchup with them on Saturday, and of course, TarHeelIllustrated.com will be there and have it covered. So keep it locked, TarHeelIllustrated.com for all your coverage, Carolina football, basketball, and recruiting. If you want to sign up, become a premium subscriber, it's just $8.33 a month. Links in the description below. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. Appreciate y'all watching as always. Another episode of the Daily Drop. Make sure you like, share, you know the drill, subscribe, and hit that notification bell too so you know every single time we upload. See y'all next time. Thanks.
Thanks.